Hi Spirit, it's me again. It's still Sunday the 9th of November. Tonight I want to talk about why I don't do readings anymore and why at the moment I don't see myself doing any in the future either. Um, it's been a long time since I've gone out and done readings for people, and it was a decision I made a few years ago to stop doing them. And to one extent, I suppose I can't really say why, and then to another, I can. About 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, so I was what, 42, 43. I started noticing that I was started going through perimenopause. I didn't know at that time, but I started to get menopausal symptoms, but that wasn't the main reason that I stopped doing it. One of the main reasons that I stopped doing it was I was unemployed at the time and I was on social welfare. And obviously with social welfare in Dublin, back then you didn't get an awful lot of money, which was understandable. I had tried finding work, full-time work, couldn't get it. I had worked in An Post, the postal service in Ireland, for Christmas from 2002 up until 2014, 2015. I worked there for the summer and then for the Christmas. And I had hoped that they would keep me on, but they didn't at the time. So I was doing readings more so to make money, to pay bills and whatever. And I was getting not desperate, but I would say that it was like, okay, do readings. You have to get readings. You have to get readings. You have to get readings because social welfare is not covering this amount and it's not covering that amount, and and I didn't like that. I didn't like that my readings were becoming about solely doing it for the money. It wasn't for. It was never. That was never my intention with readings. It was always to serve spirit and to serve the person that was coming to me for a reading, and I just got to a stage where also as well within the spiritual community in Ireland, and not now, I don't know what it's like now, but knowing other mediums and stuff like that, it just was unbelievable, the backstabbing and stuff that went on, and I just was like, I'd had enough. I just said, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing readings anymore. I don't want to. I just can't be arsed doing it anymore. And I just kind of, said, no, not doing readings, never doing them again. Yeah, it turned out I did do one or two, but anyway, said no, I'm not doing it again because as much as I would have loved to have done it as a full-time job and a full-time living, I just wasn't getting enough to make that work. And I don't think Spirit ever really wanted me, or maybe many people, to be doing this as a full living. I think, and this is not it in a disrespect way to Spirit, because Spirit don't need money anymore. When you go to the spirit world after a while, money and anything just does not intrigue you anymore. And I think they didn't realize for a while, and it's not in any way that they're stupid or anything. They'd forgotten or didn't realize we need to live in this world. We need to have material things, like we need money for bills and food and stuff like that. And for some people it's a vocation. Some people are lucky and they're able to make livings off readings, and fair play to them. I just did not have the full confidence within myself. Like, I had a few readings that weren't great. I'd let my confidence get the better of me. I never ever lost my faith or my doubt in Spirit. I lost that in me. I didn't lose that in them. I lost that in me. So people need to understand that. I never said Spirit were wrong. I was the one that was wrong. I may have said it at the time, and I'd say to people, this is what Spirit are giving me. And I go, no, 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 and whatever. And I interpreted some of it wrong too as well. I did interpret certain things that was wrong, but I know that a lot of it was to do with my self-confidence at the time. There were times where with my confidence I was soaring and I was believing everything that Spirit gave me, and I let go and let God, as they say, and it worked. And then I just went through this phase of being really, I think the desperation of being unemployed was getting to me, and the boredom of it was getting to me as well. Of being unemployed and waiting for readings, and then people say, yeah, can we book you for 4 readings, and then a day beforehand would cancel the readings. Sorry, I was just holding my lovely lip pendulum there. And would cancel readings, and I had no control over that. I had no way. I wasn't brave enough back then to say, pay me a deposit and whatever. I don't know if people do that now. I don't know. So yeah, I gave up the readings, and I haven't gone back onto them. I said maybe eventually I would. So why am I not going back to doing readings? Well, I've learned to never say never, because I might say no, 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 never, and Spirit go, yeah, right. Well, we've other plans for you. Um, I think it's like everything else in life, and I said it in one of the little speeches here that I did on the thing. I think we all move on. It's like if you're in a job and you get a promotion, or you leave your job and you go to a different job. You may stay in contact with the people for a while, and you may still know for about a year or so afterwards how to do your job, and then it just becomes something that you did in the past, and it's gone and it's finished. And it's a bit like that with the readings, and it's not that my relationship with Spirit has ended or anything, far from it. It's it's brilliant. I went through a really, really emotionally rough time for 5 or 6 years that I'm not fully out of at the moment either, but I'm getting there with it. And there was surgeries involved in that, which I ended up I went through surgical menopause, and God knows if you're a woman out there of a certain age and going through menopause, whether it's surgical or just menopause in general, it's not easy to go through. But anyway, I had to step back. I had to. I never wanted the readings to be compromised, and I think they were getting to that stage where the quality and the quantity of them was just not going to be good and wasn't being good. And I'll admit that. Not every medium will probably admit that they've had shite readings in the past or bad readings, and that's all on me. That's not on Spirit. That's all on me, and that's where I know I've let Spirit down. Um, but they don't hold that against me. I hold that against me, and I shouldn't, and I know that. Um, so no, I don't think I'll be going back to doing readings. As I said, it's like moving on. It's like, you're in a job, you leave it and whatever. And the last few years also as well, in regards to even like having the hysterectomy, I did eventually get a job in An Post. I was kept on full time. Well, kept on part time for 2 years, and then during COVID I did an upgrade and I became permanent, and so I've been doing that ever since then. But it's kind of going back a little bit now to part time. So will I do readings again the way I did before? Right now I will say no. But if I do readings, I will not be visiting people's homes. I'll be doing readings online if I do them. Um, I am planning and hoping to get back into some form of spiritual work, or spiritual work, I suppose, working either with the angels or Spirit, or a combination of both, and stuff like that. Um, and I don't know when that's going to be. I'm starting to practice again with myself. I need to get into my meditations because I was so bad at meditation before, and I'm really pretty bad at it now again. My mind was never great for just sitting still and being able to meditate. Um, and I do want to change that. I do want to get back into meditating with Spirit and meditating with the angels. And at the moment, I'm finding I'm speaking an awful lot to my angels. And I know I keep going, oh, it's nothing to do with Spirit. It's not. And I don't want it to make it feel like, well, I'm not talking to you anymore. It's nothing to do with that. It's very much Spirit have always and will always play a very big part in my life. And along with God or the angels or whomever you see God to be, they will always, always be there. And they always have been, and they always will be. I'm sure they're going when I go, hi, here I come. They're going, here we go again. I'm sure that's what they're probably thinking. But no, I joke. I know that they don't feel that way. I know that they love me unconditionally, and they have my back, and they know that if this is how it's meant to be, then we'll get back and we'll work together. But I just feel that it's kind of like I've moved on. My guides are still there. I have new guides I feel coming in as well that I'm going to hopefully be connecting with soon. And I am hoping to get into doing some sort of workshops with the angels and possibly with Spirit as well. But anything that I do is going to be online, because I just don't have the strength and the energy to go to people's houses anymore. And I think it's probably best that it's done online. People may not like that, and if not, then so be it. That's them. That's their prerogative. Um, but I think this is sort of the way to go now, is to do it online. I remember 10 years ago going, God, I wish I could do this online, and now the opportunity is here. So I am hoping to do it. Um, I don't know if there's anything else that I could say about it, other than, as I said, it's I have to say that spirit are amazing. They are absolutely phenomenal and amazing. And if you've ever had a reading from a really good medium before, you will know what I'm talking about when I say that spirit are amazing. It's not about, some of us want spirit, and I was there myself, and a few people come to me go, well, I'd like spirit to tell me this, 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 and this, and I want this, and we're going, it doesn't work like that. It's what I was told before by spirit. You get you don't always get what you want, but you'll get what you need. And I'm like, oh, yeah, what does that mean? But I get what they mean. We might want to hear from a certain person, or be told this, 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 and this, or yes, this guy likes you, or this person's going to come and blah, blah. It's not like that. And, it took me a while to learn that, even as doing readings. But, oh my God, they are so phenomenal. They are so fantastic, their spirit. Things that they can say and come out with, and how they can help you, and how a little word or a phrase that you see that they put in your pathway can help you. And spirit are just wanting you to live for you. They're wanting you to, yes, remember them when your loved one has passed, to grieve them if you feel that you need to grieve them, but to know, and I know it's hard for people to comprehend, but to know that when your loved one passes to the spirit world, whether it's through natural death, like, heart attack, aneurysms, suicide, murder, whatever, just sudden, car accidents, they are in the light and they are in the spirit world with your loved ones. Okay? They are there living a life. And it's taken me a long time through, speaking with different mediums who do trans mediumship and stuff like that, and physical mediumship, to get a beautiful picture of what it's like for spirit when they move on. And, I've lost people, and people think that when you're a medium, oh, it doesn't affect you. It does. It bloody does. It affects us. I lost my aunt coming up 3 years ago in December. And I was very close to her. Her and my mum were, apart from sisters, they were best friends, and my mum was like her carer. And she died very suddenly. And I'm still 100% not over her passing. But I know she's in a fantastic place. I did a wonderful meditation there last year after having a Reiki. And I could see her in the field standing at a railings, and she was like this. And she always had tissue like this in her hand. She would always say like this was tissue. She'd always be, it was always like a tissue, but it'd be hidden in her hand. And she was chatting to me, and she was in like her black trousers and her red top, and apparently I'm the image of her as well. And she was chatting away to me, and she had all her necklaces on her that she was buried with, and stuff. And she said to me, in her hand the tissue disappeared, and she gave me €100 in 50s, in 250s, and she said, that's for you and your ma for your birthdays. And our birthdays are about 4 or 5 days apart from each other. And it was so spot on. It was so real and so amazing to feel her again. And I know she had a tough life with her health and losing her son very suddenly 6 years ago. And I miss her every single day. My mum misses her, and I miss ringing her, going on, dropping in, are you in, and, whatever, and stuff like that. And how can I put it in a way that I am hoping will give comfort to people? It is true what they say. It's like you walk into the next room. That's basically what it's like. It's like I take this jacket off. That's what the body is like. It's like your soul discards the body. It doesn't need the body anymore. And the soul goes home, because the spirit world is truly, truly home for us. And they are there to welcome you and to love you. Different story now if you're a horrible, horrible, horrible person that's committing murders and rapes and stuff like that, and genocide, and God help Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever his name is, God help him when his time comes. But anyway, I digress. I often wonder and imagine, what is it like when you pass over, and those that went before you went, and you hugged them and you held them so tight, and all that heartache that you felt before is just gone, and you're with these people for eternity, unless you choose to incarnate back, but you're there for eternity. And I know when Anne went to the spirit world, her son was there to greet her. and all those shattered pieces of our heart just mended back together. And I think that's how it will be for everyone here watching this, that if you've lost someone, and it's easier said than done to go, know that they're in a better place. And I'm so lucky I have both my parents with me. I still have my siblings, thank God, and long may they live and can, live healthy lives. But I'm not stupid. I know in time that could come. I could go before them. They could go before me, you know. Um, but I suppose the biggest one in the last few years has been my aunt and my doggy. She died too in the July of 2022. But I know that when my time comes and I go home, Anne is going to be there running up to me going, how's it going? And stuff. And I cannot wait for it, I can't wait for that day, but I have to live my life. And I'm not saying to you don't grieve. I'm not saying to you don't cry. I'm not saying to you can't do this, you can't do that. Do what you have to do to grieve. But ask them to help you if it gets to a stage that you feel you can't get on, that you can't move forward with your life. Ask them to help you, because that's what they're there for. And your loved ones in the spirit, whether it's a child that you've lost, adult child, young child, will always be trying to contact you. And a lot of time the reason that they can't is because our grief is putting up this wall that they can't penetrate, that they don't know really how to penetrate yet. And they may never. I know one of my uncles doesn't come true. It's not because I don't want to hear from him. He, in this life, was a schizophrenic. I don't think he'd want to come back into this earth atmosphere and give us messages. I don't know if he's ever come true in a reading. But, sometimes as well, we can block. And sometimes spirit might not want to come back into the earth plane, I'm trying to be cautious of how I say that. I'm not saying that every person that has passed, that has had schizophrenia or whatever, is not going to come true. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it can take time for spirit to come true. They may want to come true in a reading and they may not. I've often gone for readings hoping certain people will come true and they don't. Someone else will come true and I wasn't expecting them, And I think what's happened, and I've noticed with people before that came to me for readings, they'd be expecting a certain person like a father or a mother to come true, and they wouldn't come true straight away, and they would block themselves completely and just put up this wall. And I'd have to say to them, they say, well, I wanted my mom to come true. And I'll say, well, you're not giving me enough time. Let me deal with the spirit person first and see, will your mum come in? And then a lot of time they do, or sometimes they don't, because they might not just have anything. They may not be ready. That spirit person may not be ready to come in and speak. Maybe they're not ready to hear what has to be said. Here's the person living here, and that's not nice to hear either. That's not easy to hear when you're wanting someone so much to come true and they don't come true, and you're like, well, why aren't they coming through to talk to me? But they'll talk to her, they might not come true at all. I'm not in charge of who comes true when I'm doing readings. Most mediums are not in charge of who comes true when they're doing readings. So, and anyway, I kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent there, or took a different pathway, but I miss doing the readings, I do. But I don't see myself yet doing readings for a while, if ever. I'll never say never, because that's been thrown back in my face a few times. I said I'll never say never, but yeah, I think in regards to mediumship readings, no, not now, not right now. When I feel pulled to do it, if spirit call me, I feel that someone needs it or that I need to do readings for a while, so be it. They're in charge, not me. I've given myself back to them again and say, use me to serve you however you want me to. And if it is a thing that I go through a phase of doing readings again, brilliant, so be it. I'll put it out there. But right now, no, I am not doing readings. So I'm sorry to anyone that has asked me, am I doing readings and stuff like that? No, not right now. Will I be doing them again? I really don't know. For now, no, but I really do not know right now if I'll ever be doing readings again. But I do miss them, but I can sit and talk with spirit, and I don't always hear them myself. I get frustrated too. I get frustrated with myself and go, why can't I hear you talking to me properly? Because it's me. I've put the blocks up. I've put the challenges there in front of it, not them. But I'm sure I see them at times going, there, Joyce. And kind of pat me a little bit on the head. I'm joking. But no, they are around you all the time. It's like a spirit to say atmosphere there is quicker. Their energy is an awful lot quicker than ours, and that's how we don't see them. I do see flashes of them in my light, in my eye, and you might too. So look, I'm going to leave it at that there. I'm hoping in time to maybe do some online courses of how to connect with spirit and how to connect with angels. And if it's anything that you'd like to do, let me know and I can start doing them here online, and we can see how that goes. But look, that's the reason right now why I'm not doing readings. So please don't be offended if I'm saying no, I'm not doing readings. Um, as I said, it's like something else. I'm not saying I've been promoted. I have to wait for them to say I've been promoted. But it's like either being promoted in a job or leaving a job and going somewhere else. You leave behind what you knew before and you move forward onto something else. Better, brighter, maybe harder, who knows, but that's what it is. So look, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I hope that answers your questions as to why I don't do readings anymore. Some of you may not have asked, but one or two people have asked, and that's the reason why I don't do readings. Eventually, maybe, but right now the answer is no, I don't do readings. So have a good Sunday evening. As I said, it is 7 o'clock now in the evening here in Dublin's after getting cold, so I have the heating on. So I'm going to go and watch TV. So look after yourselves. Talk to your spirit people like they were still here. Tell them how much you love them, how much you miss them. Ask them for signs. Give me a sign that I know it's you. And they will do that. It may take time, but they will do it. Okay? See you now. Bye-bye.